Assalamu alaikum everyone, Huzafa here from BITFX with another weekly outlook. Let's start off with EURUSD on the weekly time frame, and as we can see, we are following the bearish trend as we have been expecting from the last few weeks. And in the previous weekly outlooks, we have seen that we were expecting bearish trends to follow for the EURUSD upcoming weeks. Alright, so as we can see, this week we had created another lower low, breaking this low, and potentially we're gonna continue lower up for a bit and then go back, test into this area of demand, and then even continue lower. Or for us to change the direction, we will need to break this high. Alright, for EURUSD to be externally bullish on the weekly time frame, we will need to break this high for now. Alright, this will be, if we break this structure, this will be an internal structure break, and this is the external structure break right here. For the EURUSD to go bullish, we need this external structure break, and this way we could confirm that EURUSD is now bullish. But for now, we are bearish on the weekly time frame, and we will be expecting sells. Potential upcoming week, we will be seeing sells, or most probably we could see the low gets taken out and then market reverses back up. Alright, so let's go into the daily time frame, and what do we see? We see this liquidity being built up again. This liquidity being built up on the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame as well, we saw this break of structure right here. So if you see, this structure was broken by this leg, market went back up. This was the NFP, market tapped into this daily order block or daily area of supply, and then market continued to drop down. And as we can see, this is a strong daily bearish candle, which shows us that we are very weak on EURUSD right here. And then as well as this liquidity present on the daily time frame and all the other time frames right here, this trendline liquidity is a very strong indicator for the market to continue down in the coming days. Right, so we are for sure gonna expect this area to be taken out. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame, and yes, we are bearish on all the time frames. Bearish on every single time frame, we are bearish. Right. Nothing to see on the 4 hours. Just possibly my POIs could be let's say, so once this low is taken out, once these external lows are taken out, I'll for sure wait for this area to be tapped in and then continue lower. So this will be my POI number 1. Okay, so in this weekly outlook for the EURUSD, we don't have many POIs as we are still following a single trend right now. On every time frame we are bearish. So 4 hours, daily, weekly, all of the time frames we are bearish on them. So yes, in order for the external trend to shift to bullish, we will need to see the break of this structure right here. So this high needs to be broken in order for us to convert bullish on EURUSD. Alright, let's move on to Gbpusd. Alright, so coming on to Gbpusd, we can see something interesting happening here. We are currently at an area of demand which was created when COVID started. So as you can see, 2nd March 2020, and this is where the pandemic started. So possibly we could see market give off some sort of a reaction from here, but most likely we will see market even continuing lower due to the world crisis going on right now. And keeping the fundamentals in mind, we could see potential break of even these lows. So the COVID lows could be broken. Alright, so on weekly time frame, we are at a very interesting spot right now. So it's a very, very, very interesting spot. So this is a very highly liquid area, as well as this is a 2020 monthly low, and it's a very fundamentally backed low. Right, so this is a very liquid low right here. So market is more than likely to take out this low on the monthly time frame. Let's going on to the weekly time frame. As we can see, we are again extremely bearish. We had sells in the previous weekly outlooks from this area, which are playing out and making the lower lows playing out perfectly. We have this area of interest marked for the future, right? So I don't know if it's gonna be this week or it's gonna be the week after, but this is one POI which I'll be looking at. And in order for us to convert bullish again on Gbpusd, we would need to see the break of this high right here. So we will need to see external shift of the trend to convert externally bullish and continuing that 1000 to 1000 pip move up. We'll need to see this break of structure right here. Other than that, we are still bearish on Gbpusd on the weekly time frame. Let's start on the daily time frame. Let's see. Again, on the daily time frame, we have this point of interest right here, which I'll be looking for sells again, but again we are extremely bearish right here. And some minor areas of interest could be this right here. So this full leg I could potentially look to sell off from here as well. So again, once market goes down, continues here, we see a 5-minute time frame confirmation and we take the sells. If we don't see the 5-minute time frame confirmation, most likely the market is going to continue up, break this structure. This will be an internal break on the 4-hour time frame, and once we see this break, we could potentially look for buys, for short-term buys around this area, for the market to continue all the way up till these zones. All right, so these are the possibilities. So either market would play out this way, or either market could just continue down and break out these lows. So this is going to be our POI, and once the structure has been broken in the future, we could potentially have this POI right here. Whatever the low will be created, that would be our area of demand for Gbpusd. But yes, for the future, we are expecting Gbpusd to continue bearish, and on all the higher time frame, the trends are still bearish. We don't see any bullish trend conversion on any of these time frames right now. Let's move on to Nzdusd. Alright, so moving on to Nzdusd on the weekly time frame, as we can see, we are a very strong area of demand, and we had this area marked prior as well in the past few weeks, and we saw this huge push up right here from this area of demand around 400 pips, which is great. Now we are back into the same area, and still there is a possibility of the market to push higher up. Okay, so now the scenarios would be either market needs to break this high in order for us to convert bullish. So as soon as we see the break of this structure right here, we would be bullish on the external trends. This our area of demand will be matching as well. We'll come back, we'll look for an area of demand into this zone on the weekly time frame, and then look for lower time frame confirmations and continue bullish for another, let's say 1000 to 1000 pips. On the other hand, the next scenario would be, if we look at the daily time frame, we could have these POIs right here. POI number 1, which I believe is most likely to respect, and we have this POI right here. Right, these two are the POIs right now, and as we can see, these lows have been mitigated. So these highs have been mitigated by this leg right here. This is the only leg which I see is unmitigated right now. So there is a huge possibility market could, Nzdusd could go up, fill this up, either break this or either continue down. Okay, let's see on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, on 4-hour time frames, so we see something interesting right now happening, and what we see is market making lower lows, and then this break of this structure. But now see, if we see this break of structures, these structures are not really clear or clean right now. All right, so these structures right here are not very clean right now, and plus once market broke the structure, market continued going up in the same direction and tagged into this areas of supply right here, into this zones, area of supply zones, and then saw this huge rejection from these zones right here, area of supply. So what could possibly happen is so people, obviously even us, will look for buys around this area, but with most of the people, they're just going to have their limits placed right here. Okay, most of the people are going to have their limits placed. That's what you should never do. All right, so most likely there's like a 70% chance that they might give off some reaction, but then continue going lower. Okay, taking out these lows. For us, we will be looking for buys from this area. So what we will do is, we have this area of interest marked. Once the market reaches here, we'll go into our lower time frame confirmations and see if they follow our rules, and then we get into these buys. If the rules are not followed, we stay out of it, and most likely market is going to continue down, and then the future it's going to go back up. So for we could see we have seen a minor break in the bullish structure. Daily we are still bearish. weekly time frame we are still bearish, right? So again, we are bearish externally on NZD/USD as well, and these will be our POIs. So one POI number 2 on the daily time frame, similar POIs, and on 4 hours our POI would be this zone right here. Yes, this zone right here, this zone for buys right here. This is the most riskier one, so make sure you guys stay safe from this. And yeah, all right. And one more thing in our confluence is this low. When this low was taken out, it's extra confluence that market most likely shows reversal signs after a liquidity grab. So once we see this liquidity grab happening, we saw this liquidity grab and then we saw market push up, and then there's a high chance that it could possibly give off a nice reaction from this POI. So make sure you guys wait for the lower time frame confirmations and then get into these buys. Alright, last but not least, on Usdcad we can see we have been in a bullish trend from a while now, and we see this minor break of structure right here on the weekly time frame. We saw this break of structure, and so we had marked out this POI for us. Well, as I had mentioned in the previous weekly outlooks as well, this is not a strong POI right here. There's a high chance market will go and take out these highs right here. There's a very high chance market will go and make on higher highs on Usdcad, and the manipulation will be done for the sellers right here. Okay, because as we have seen in the past, market does the same thing. It gives you a break of structure right here. Market came down, give you a break of structure. People with stop losses above this area got hit. It rinses and repeats itself, again. Market came down, break of structure, stop losses above this area, goes and hits. So now what I'm seeing is a similar thing, and we see this area where market did a BOS, and now it's going back up into this area of supply, and people are actually selling from this zone. Even, don't get me wrong, even we were selling from this zone looking at the lower time frame confirmations. But yes, right here we are talking about the external trend, long-term trend. So for the long-term trend, I believe we are still bullish on Usdcad, and we haven't shifted structures. Yes, possibility for shifting structure would be once we break out this low right here. This is a shift in structure. Alright, even this I would not consider shift in structure until market goes back up, breaks this high, and then breaks this low. Then it would be considered a shift in structure. But right now I'm not convinced that we have turned anywhere close to bearish on Usdcad, right? So my bias is still bullish. Daily time frame, we are still making higher highs. We are still in a bullish trend. We have seen some reaction from this POI right here, obviously. So we have seen a good reaction from here, but again, there's a very highly liquid zone, and there is a high chance of this getting taken out. So be careful when you're selling. This is one of our POIs, alright, but be careful whenever you're selling Usdcad. Make sure you're following your lower time frame confirmation and not just placing the trade randomly. Okay, other POIs could be this area right here and this low right here. Okay, so all these areas marked are the POIs for the buys right here. So if market starts to reject, I'll be looking for buys from here, from here, from here, from here, until from any one of these markets starts to push up, and again needs to follow your lower time frame confirmation. Now going on to the 4-hour time frame, we have seen that no external 4-hour structure was broken, so we are not even proof that the 4-hour has shifted to bearish. Even 4-hour is bullish, and you can tell by this candle right here, which was formed on the 4-hour before the close. It was extreme bullish candle, showing huge signs of buyers in control right here on the 4-hour time frame. So there is a chance that market might open the next week, give off some reaction, come tap into this imbalance which is created, or maybe even this imbalance which is created, and then continue back up. But yes, we are still bullish on Usdcad, and these will be the POIs for Usdcad for the coming week or coming weeks. Yeah, so these are the POIs for Usdcad. Alright guys, that's it for the weekly outlook. Make sure to like, subscribe, and see you guys in the next week. Till then, stay risk managed, keep smashing the pips, the profits, the risk rewards, and peace.